Hello everyone, welcome to this YouTube channel. In this YouTube channel, we talk about Agile, .NET, C#, and software development. Please, if you are new here, subscribe to this YouTube channel if you want to receive more updates about software development, C#, Agile, and .NET. And also, don't forget to share this content with others so that they can also benefit from this wonderful content. In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can use VS Code as a C# developer. So what are some of the extensions that you can install as a C# or .NET developer? And we all know that if you want to get best of everything, you need to have Visual Studio. And when you find yourself on a operating system like Linux or macOS, you can use Visual Studio. So with that, you need to use either Visual Studio Code or Rider, which is not free. So today the goal is that we are going to make Visual Studio look like Visual Studio Code look like a Visual Studio. So thank you for choosing this YouTube channel. Let's get started. So the first thing that you need here is that you need to make sure that you have the .NET SDK. So I'm going to say that .NET SDK. So you can search for .NET SDK like this, and then you are going to be navigate to this website. And in this website, you can choose to download the version that you want, but our advice that you download the version 8. As I was recording this video, the version 8 is the stable version, which the version 9 will be released on November. So you can go ahead and download this SDK, because if you are working with Visual Studio Code, you are going to use the .NET CLI to communicate with the .NET SDK. So if you want to generate a template, if you want to run your .NET application, basically you are going to use the CLI. So make sure you have the .NET SDK installed. And in here, what you can do is that you can go ahead and download Visual Studio Code from here. But in our case, we have already installed it, so we are not going to install that. But one key or one extension that is very most imperative is the C# dev kit. So this extension is built with all the C# latest features that can help you to write a C# code. So it has all the IntelliSense and everything. So before you can do C# or .NET development with Visual Studio Code, make sure that you have this extension. So I'm going to talk about extension when we get to Visual Studio Code. So let's get to Visual Studio Code and let's start from there. So right now I have this application here, which is a .NET API. So ASP.NET Core API, which is a to-do application that you can perform all the cloud functionality here. And this source code is one of the video here. I will link the video on the description so that you can go and check the video out how to build all this API. So right now what I have here is very simple. This is some kind of API, and I want to show you what I have in here. So when you go to extensions, right now you see that the first thing that I have here is that I have C# extension installed. So you can decide to install this extension, and whatever I'm going to say is kind of optional, my personal preference. So you can choose to ignore it or you can choose to install that. So what we have here is the C#, and make sure it's coming from Microsoft. And most of the time .NET application normally comes with all the Swagger configuration and everything, but I most of the time prefer to use also Tender client for some kind of make API request and then get response and everything. And when you want to install this one, the .NET install 2, this is also coming from Microsoft, and it has all these things that you can use, which is the C#, Unity, Maui, and all these things. But this is the most important one, which is the C# dev kit. and make sure to install this extension. And this extension helps you to write your C# code, debug, and do everything like what we used to do in Visual Studio. So in here you can do a lot of stuff in here. So make sure to install this extension. And one extension that you need to install is the C# extension. So this C# extension is one extension that helps you to basically have something like C# environment. You should know, anytime that you want to create something in VS Code, you want to create something like class or interface or something like that. So let me show you that. So if you come here right now and I want to create a new controller, if I right click, you see I will get something like C#. So I will get something like C# in here, and it will ask you that I want to create a class, interface, enums, or whatever you want to create, and you get this. So when you create the class, it will take the interface, and which is very, very beautiful. So this one help us to do all those kind of stuff where we can create classes. So if I want to create a classes like this, I can go ahead and say that test class. So if I do test class like this, you see I'm getting the interface and everything, the namespace, and now I have this. So you can then go ahead and delete all the use. So this is a third class that we just created, but you see that we are using the namespace default, so it's doing everything for you. So make sure to install this extension too. So I also have this kind of code spell checker, where maybe sometimes when you are writing a code, you can make a lot of mistakes, and this spell checker will help you. I also have some kind of a Docker extension installed, so it helps you to also it gives you the intelligence when it comes to Docker files. So if you have some kind of Docker files, you can run Docker, compose Docker file and everything in here too. So I also have GitHub Copilot, and it's sometimes annoying, but if you want to read your code or find a way to write documentation and everything, you can also use GitHub Copilot. So that is one thing also I also have this one, IntelliSense, for the dev kit. So this is also very powerful. As I said, VS Code is test editor. It doesn't come with a lot of heavy loaded stuff. So if you find yourself with a code base with a lot of controllers, services and everything, if there is an error, VS Code will find it difficult to tell you that there is an error here, because you need IntelliSense to do that. And with this extension, you can then do that with that. So make sure that you have this. It gives you all the IntelliSense and all that. And I also have this sonar length. This is one thing that is always force you to write a good code, right? So this extension too is one extension that I highly recommend that you install, because when you are writing a code, sometimes you need to go with the best practices and everything, and having this extension will help you. It will enforce you to write some kind of a better code. So if I do something like this here, you see I'm getting some kind of, but this is coming from VS Code though, but when I right click, you see the sonar length is also trying to say that this error here, we are not going to allow that. So it's trying to give us a warning. So this is coming from the sonar length, and so try to make sure to install that extension too. So there is a lot that you can install. So I have VS Code icon. So you see these icons that we have in here is a VS Code icon that I'm normally use. You can also use a lot of icon, because you have the material icon and everything. So that one depends on your preferences and all that. So the most imperative extension that you need to keep in mind is, you see, I also have this one. I forgot to show you. This is also namespace. So sometimes VS Code will find it difficult to give you a namespace. So if you want to have some kind of namespace, this extension will help you. So we have this in namespace, right? So let's go ahead and check if the extension works. So we see that we want to have namespace, and you see we are getting all these things, right? So namespace, and what do? and then it's trying to suggest the namespace that we're supposed to have. So you see we are getting this here. So when you click this, so this extension too can help you. But you know, this one, the C# extension, I mean, does the same, but with the C# extension, it always give you the default. I mean, to create the namespace for your default. So you can choose, you can install both of them. You don't know what will happen along the way, and then any of them can help anytime that you want to use them. So these are some of the extensions that you can use. You don't need to use install a lot of extensions to make your VS Code heavy loaded or something like that. Just install this recommended extension, and then you can use VS Code to write your C# code without even running Visual Studio or something like that. So thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and share this video with others. If you have any question, you have any recommendation, you can always drop them at the comment section and we will respond to that. So thank you for watching Cliff Tech.